Hey friends, this is Derek Bros with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today I just want to share a little bit with you about why I'm going to be gone this week. I do have a few videos coming out this week, but I'm actually not going to be here. They're just going to be scheduled. And I'm going to be in Oklahoma from Tuesday through Saturday, participating in what is known as Sundance. And for those who might not be aware, Sundance is a native ceremony, a native tradition that has been happening for, well, likely thousands of years and for many, many generations. Um, I'll let you do your own research. I will point to a Wikipedia page for whatever it's worth. You can kind of get some basic information about the Sundance ceremony. And essentially, it is a ceremony that's practiced every June around the solstice. And it has been practiced traditionally by, the natives of the plains, what they call the Plains Indians, particularly the Lakota, among other. Definitely, there's lots of different tribes and traditions that have practiced the Sundance. And of course, as colonization began in the United States, many of us in our native ancestors were not allowed to practice their traditions, to speak their own languages, to grow their hair long. Just were shipped off to boarding schools. I mean, this is a whole background that I'm sure some of you are at least vaguely familiar with. And if you go back to some of my YouTube videos, you can find me talking about the history of native colonization and talking about the Sand Creek Massacre and talking about other important issues related to this. I myself am a indigenous person, a native person. We all are indigenous, though. I've said this before. Everyone's indigenous no matter where you're from, what color your skin. You just got to go back and find your roots. I didn't grow up on a reservation. I didn't grow up being raised in these traditions or even really knowing much about this part of my history and my blood and my life. In fact, I still seem to be one of the only people in my family who's truly interested in this, but it is something that is called to me and that I connect deeply with. And for the past 5 years, I'd say about 5 years, 4 or 5 years, I've been going to learn from the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma. I'm in Texas. Just across the border of Texas and Oklahoma is a little place called Hugo, Oklahoma, in the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma. And the Choctaw, of course, are spread around several different states. They were moved during the Trail of Tears, among other nations, from their land in the Mississippis towards Oklahoma and other places. They were forcibly relocated by the United States government during the Trail of Tears. And they've been there since then in different parts. And so because of colonization, there are a lot of traditions and a lot of cultures and ceremonies have been lost. And in some ways, different cultures have and different traditions, native traditions, have sort of adopted the traditions of other tribes. So, for example, the Lakota and the Dakota and the Nakota, and many of them have practiced Sundance for many, many generations. This is a picture of the Cree Indian Sundancers, likely in Montana in 1893. And because of certain traditions and languages being destroyed, because of the colonization, some tribes have actually adopted traditions of other tribes. So, for example, as far as I know and what I've been taught and seen, the Choctaw originally didn't have a Sundance. They had what is known as an eagle dance. Here's an artist rendition of this from 1835. They had an eagle dance, and other tribes had what are known as ghost dances. And so there's been several revivals of these movements, mainly since the 60s and 70s. Whenever you had the Black Power movement and the women's rights movement, there was also the Red Power movement of natives stepping up and reviving our traditions and growing our hair long again, and basically saying, like, we're going to bring our languages back and our customs back. So although much of it has been lost, and sometimes there are traditions and languages and words that are borrowed from other traditions, for the most part, you'll find tribes all around the U.S. and elsewhere in the world celebrating or practicing some form of Sundance or eagle dance or ghost dance around the solstice. And so, as I said, I've been learning from the Choctaw the past years, and I was unable to make the Sundance last year, but it's very important to me, and I'm very thankful that as you're listening to this, I'm on the way to Oklahoma. I'm probably already there right now, and we'll be participating in a Sundance over the next 4 days. And when I say participating, I am not a dancer. For those who know what Sundance is, I'm not going to be dancing. I will be dancing in support on the the perimeter of the arbor. I might be involved in the inner circle, doing some smudging. Here's some more pictures. This is the arbor. You can see the tree, the the middle is a prayer tree. And this is a picture from back in the 1800s again. And it's just basically a huge community dance where the people who pledge to dance, they fast. In some traditions, for a week or more, and some traditions for 4 days, they go without food and water while they're dancing around in the circle, singing prayer songs, and the drummers are playing the drums, and the community is outside supporting and praying and singing along. And I won't get into too much of the details, mainly because I think that I want to respect some of the traditions and customs, and I do think that some of these things are meant to be preserved for those who are in person. And if you are never able to make it in person, then there are definitely things you can read about online. This is another old picture of a Cheyenne Sundance. It's a really good, nice panorama shot of this. This is cool because you can see again the arbor. It's built from trees right here, and there's a tree in the middle. That's the prayer tree, and the community is all there. There are women, there are men, there are children, and everybody's coming together for the Sundance. And really what it comes down to is it's a giving back. It's a way for community members to sacrifice in a way and to give back to the community and give back to Mother Earth by fasting. And there's also there's different flesh offerings. There's a pledge at the end where the dancers will pierce their chest with buffalo bones, and there's a lot to it. And again, you can find documentaries, you can find different things. I personally, I've been taught that you don't take pictures of Sundance, you don't take pictures of the arbor, you don't bring technology into there, but you'll find some people who've done that online, and it's a controversial thing depending on who you ask, right? But so I've just wanted to put this out there that for those who are unaware, I invite you to learn more about these customs and these traditions, even if you are 1/8 native or 1/16 or something. Learn from the pieces of your history, and then maybe learn more about the other customs you have. If you're Irish, look at the tribes of Ireland, look at the tribes of Europe and what happened to them before colonization, and what were those traditions. Those are sometimes known, what are they called? Well, to some people they're shamans, to some people they're the druids, there's the witches, but these are just traditions that were more earth-based traditions before what we know as the modern organized religion in the modern state. And I think there's much to gain from that, whether you come from Hawaii or America or Europe or Australia or any of the many beautiful places on this planet. You are indigenous to somewhere, and I would encourage you to learn those traditions and to get more into them, as I am trying to. And as I said, I'm not Choctaw. What I've learned about my family is we are Seminole, and also part of my family is just native to Texas. We've been here since before it was United States or Mexico. So some call those individuals Taino Indians, Taino natives. But this is an important part of my journey, and I just wanted to share a little bit about it with you guys. I know you've heard me talk about some native traditions before, and there's a lot more I could say on this, but I'm going to just keep it at that because I feel like it's something personal, and it's something that's really important to me. I'm blessed and honored to have been brought into this circle through Chief Gray Eagle of the Choctaw Nation in Hugo, Oklahoma, and he's been hosting Sundance on his land for 20 plus years, and before that it was his grandfather's land, and they were hosting Sundance there, and he's been to lots of other big Sundances. There's a huge Sundance that takes place in South Dakota with the Lakota tribes, and there's others that take place in California and all around the country. But just so you're aware, beginning this week, all the way through the solstice this weekend, there will be big traditions, big ceremonies taking place, lots of prayer, lots of dancing, being out in the sun and the heat, fasting, and just giving back to the planet. So I'm really excited to be there, and that's why I won't be here on YouTube this week. We do have more videos coming out for you that'll be scheduled, but other than that, I'm going to be out in the sun, dancing, putting some prayers into the air, and getting recharged, and then coming back home ready to continue on my journey, my spiritual journey, and my personal journey. So thank you guys for listening to this. I hope it was informative to you and interesting, and I do encourage you to do more research on your own. And that's it for now, guys. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.